Okay. So, in here, we are going to talk about the introduction to servers. So, first of all, I will explain what is a server. Okay. So, server. Server is a computer or software system that provides services, data, storage, or resources to other devices known as client over a network. So server can be physical machine or virtual instance or a software application. It is like this. A server is a computer. It's a computer which having more performances, more hardware accessories, and a place where we can provide so many services to others machines or other servers, likewise things. So the common roles in a server, the common roles mean the activity which is going to use, or the activity we are giving to that server, are known as roles. So the web, we can use web servers, file servers, database servers, or mail servers, application servers, printer servers, DNS servers, and proxy server. So these are some of the roles which are used in a day-to-day industry. Servers are using. So web server, if we think about a web server is a server which is using to host websites, like the websites. Can you guys tell me, am I audible? Anyone? Am I audible to you guys? Sajun, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Hello?
Mm, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No, sir.
Okay, my voice is not coming to anyone, no?
Yeah.
Now am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, okay, just a moment. Now am I audible? Can anyone confirm, am I audible or not? Okay, what's happening? Am I audible now? Till now? Tilan or Ashwin, can someone tell?
Yeah, now okay.
Yeah, I think slide also you can see the slide, no?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. So I will start the again. So in here, what we are going to discuss is introduction to servers. What kind of a service? What kind the users of that server? The roles which are over this server. Likewise, then. So first of all, I will explain what is a server. Server is a physical or virtual machine which is having more performances. It can be used for the services or data storage or resource maintain and other network communications. So this can be done from a physical machine or a virtual instance or software application. Physical machines mean on-premises servers, the servers which can be touched, and the virtual instances mean the machines which are built inside those physical servers and using application using the inbuilt software like hypervisor or failover clusters, likewise things. So the roles which mainly using in a server, mostly web servers, file server or a database server, mail server, application server, printer server, DNS server, proxy server, or a maybe domain controllers. So those are some roles which can be assigned to a server. So when we think about a web server, what is the purpose of a web server? Web server is a place where websites and delivers the web pages to a client like Apache, uh, NGX, IIS, likewise things. So what we are doing here, the application development team or a system administrator, once the application development team or the web design team is built a website and they need to host it to use by other people, it means other users. So it will be hosted on a web server. Then I will talk about a file server. What is a file server? File server is a place where keep the document for sharing internally, it means intranet. They can use these files in a common place where can be accessed by the users within the premises, within the domain. So the restrictions are there over the file servers, so they can be managed, store the data from using. So there are some applications, Windows file server, which is using for the Windows file shares. Zamba is a place for the mostly Linux. So these file servers, the cloud is also file server. Storage, it mean OneDrive, maybe Google Drive, those are also file servers. Those are virtual, it means those are in the cloud. So it also kind of a file server. Okay. So database server, database server mean provide the database service to manage data from MySQL, PostgreSQL, Microsoft SQL servers. Likewise, the database which is there is called a database server. So mail servers. Next we can talk about mail servers. Mail server, the handling the delivery of a mail from the client. It mean the customers. It mean the in the organization, in the industry. When we think about a company, they are if they not going on the cloud, it mean O365 online, or likewise if they are not going, then they need to build a email server inside their domain to handle their email delivery and management. It mean outbound, inbound, all the things. So the examples for email servers, mail servers, Microsoft Exchange server, Microsoft Online server mean O365 mean online version. Exchange mean the on-prem one, Microsoft Exchange. Then the first fix. Those are some examples for a mail server. Then we come to next role as application server. Application server. What is application server? Application server is a server which is built to access applications. So they are hosting application service. Yeah. So the what I'm call the application service server which is built for the hosting applications and application services from to access remotely. It mean a person who is in the home, or maybe he is outside the organization domain, they can access a application which is hosted on an application server through a proxy. So the next we going to talk about the proxy server. Proxy server also a server which is created inside the industry to create VPNs, or the proxy, which proxy mean you guys know VPN, I think all of IT guys know. So VPN tunneling is doing by hosting that application over proxy server. So we are giving a proxy address which is static for their domain, and we establish a VPN application from application server by binding proxy server to give access remotely for users. Is it clear? Any question? Anyone? Yes.
No, it's clear.
Yeah, okay. So when we decide the server, mainly we need to check some components like hardware components or operating system which is we are going to use, and the availability of that server. Okay, so hardware part, what is hardware? Hardware, the performances which is given to that server, particular server, from the hardware like high powerful CPU, large amount of RAM, not like 12 GB or 13 GB, maybe 128 GB, or more than 256, 1 TB RAM, likewise. So the storage of these servers, we need mostly the minimum requirement for physical server in the industry. They are deciding mostly 1 TB hard disk they are integrate into that server, because from this 1 TB they can create so many virtual machines, and they can store their files, because in the industry for file servers the client is using only like to share Excel file or a Word file, maybe some critical data like documents. So the 1 TB is enough for the local, it means minimum requirement. So then we come to operating system. Operating, what is the operating system? Operating system is a software, or a it's mainly software which is connecting those hardware and the application to run the to get the service from the hardware of the server, like Windows OS. There's Windows OS, then Linux, Unix, and other sorry, other open source app, OS. So from those, from Windows, mostly application file servers are using mostly Windows servers. For the application host or maybe web hosting, they are mostly using Linux or Unix server to optimize the stability and the access from the multi users. Okay. So then we come to the availability. What availability mean? If we run an application for the when we think about what is the bank applications. So if a server is down, but there are parallel servers which is running same as the main server. If anything happen to main server, it will replicate to that backup server and continue running the application. So availability mean the time, it means the uptime of the application or uptime of a server without interrupting their services. So it's also when we going to select a server, we need to think about this part as well. Okay. So mainly server is a backbone for the IT industry. Okay, and now we will move on to the next slide. The hardware components which we are going to uh, think, or what we going to select when we select in a server process. We need to think about the processor, memory, storage and network interface as well. In here network interface mean the this is mainly using for the redundancy or the high availability things. We are using network interface. Processor mean the CPU. I will come one by one. First we will talk about uh, processor. It means a CPU. Okay, so uh, CPU is mainly, the name is coming from central process unit. So the processor, this is the primary component of a computer responsible for executing instructions, performing calculations and managing data to run program and application. It is often referred to as the brain of the computer or a server. This is the brain. Why we are calling the CPU as the brain? It is the place where giving the instruction and calculation which is need to run the applications or how to manage data. Likewise, the things is given, the instruction which is given from the CPU to the machine. It means in our human body, all the instructions are coming from our brain. We need to do this when we are going to write a code. We are thinking. So brain is giving instruction in here. We need to put this component in here, this component. So it's instruction everything to us from the brain. That's why we are uh, telling processor is the brain of computers. So the key components of the CPU is uh, at ALU, then we are coming to control unit, then registers, cache memory, cores and clock, and then we are coming to clock. So when we ALU, what is the ALU? ALU is the performance arithmetic operations. It mean the instructions given for the addition, subtraction, divide, or the logic operations which is from the AND gate or an OR gate, OR gate, XOR. Likewise, things are doing from the ALU of the CPU. When we they in the CPU, there's a control unit. In this control unit, what we are doing directs the flow of data and instruction within the CPU. The instruction or the things in the CPU are controlled by control unit. Then it coordinate interactions between the CPU, memory, and other components of the CPU. So the things we are installing or the things we are doing are stored in the registers of the CPU. This is a small and fast storage location in the CPU, and this only contain temporary data storage. It means in here in the registers there are small amount of data storage. Those are temporarily. It's keeping in there. So next we come to the cache memory. Cache memory is high speed memory within the CPU to store frequently used data and instruction to reduce access time to main memory. What does it mean? It means in the cache memory, it's storing the instructions and data to reduce the high performances. It means reduce the time to access those things continuously. It mean we control C, we are using copy to copy, so it will be stored in the uh, cache memory, then it will help us to give paste in another place. Likewise, cache memory is uh, storing the instructions and the data. So cores, what is this cores? Cores is the independent processing unit within CPU. Multi-cores like dual core, quad core, then i5, likewise i7, likewise we those numbers are given from the cores which is available over the CPU. From these cores, if it's a dual core, we can do two works at a time. Likewise, it will be multiplying. If the cores are high number of cores are available, the performances of this server will be high. So when we think about this, how this CPU is working, I'm explain first we talk about the hardware parts which is inside the CPU and the things. Now we will talk about how this CPU is working. The CPU operations in a cycle known as the fetch, decode, execute cycle. FDEC, we are in the industry, we normally say in FDEC mean the cycles which are inside the CPU, how it's work. So fetch, decode, execute. Those are the three steps which is going to done by a CPU. Fetch, retrieve instruction from memory. The instruction which is available over the memory will be retrieved from the CPU and to fetch those instruction. Decode, interrupt the instruction. It means he's gathering the data, then he's decode it to analyze what is the instruction, then execute means the he's going to do the specific operation what we are going to say. Okay. So there are CPU types for a desktop. CPUs are designed Intel, AMD, Nvidia. Those so Nvidia processors are also there. So those processors designed by personal computers, or it may be a laptop, it may be a desktop. So in those machines they are using desktop CPUs. Mobile devices like Samsung or Apple phone, maybe a tab, maybe a any other mobile device. So in there also there's a CPU. So mobile CPUs like in the Apple M chip series, Snapdragon, then the Samsung, I think they are using S series or something like that. So those are mobile CPUs. So de apart from desktop CPUs, for the servers, CPU is very different. The number of cores are high and the speed of clock speed, how many cycles it's going to be happen in a second to execute instruction. So those clock timing also very high over server CPU. So these are mainly designed to handle large workload in a data center. Okay, so there are, for example, I will say from Intel they are giving Xeon CPUs for the servers, from AMD EPYC CPUs for the servers. Those are two companies. Then there are some CPUs which is designed for IoT things like ARM processors. Those are used on for the process of IoT activities, devices or appliance. So when we come to the important of these CPU specifications, we need to think about the clock speed, number of cores, and the thread and the cache size of the CPU and the terminal design power. Those components, five components, we need to think. Those are the important specifications of a CPU. Clock speed. Clock speed determines the number of instruction the CPU can process for a second. Okay, so there are 2.4, 3.0, likewise gigahertz are there. So we, when we select in a CPU for a server, we need to, not a server, when you guys go in and purchase in a laptop, okay, or you are going to build a computer, uh, though when you select in a CPU, you guys need to think about the clock speed of that particular CPU and the cores. This cores will impact, a number of cores will impact the multitasking and parallel processing for the process of the machine. Then the threads. Threads are logical cores for the better multitasking by enabling technologies like hyperthreading. It means Hyper-V clusters, then failover clusters. Those are decided by the threads of the CPU. Then the cache size. Cache size affect how quickly the CPU can access frequently used data. So when you select in a CPU, these things need to be consider. When you purchase in a laptop, maybe you are going to design a computer, you need to select a CPU. When you select in CPU, so you guys need to consider of the clock speed, number of cores which is inside the CPU, or the threads which are used in the threads, how many threads, then the cache size and DP, terminal design power. This will measure the heat output of the energy consumption. If this is very low, it means low quality one, the power consumption of your device will be high. So when we think about the popular CPU bands, there are Intel, then AMD, ARM. Those are the popular CPU bands in the industry. So roles of the CPU in the modern system. Now the CPU handles essential operations but often work alongside other components like GPU. GPU means the graphic processing unit. When we boys going to buy a laptop or something, we are using how to tell. I have purchased a gaming laptop which having uh, GPU that having NVIDIA or something like that, AMD. There are GPUs. So this GPU also now processing with CPUs and the RAM and the storage. So the CPU performances is a critical for everything from basic computing tasks to complex applications like gaming, AI and data processing. Anything you guys need to ask from the processors. Anything? Anyone? If not, I will proceed for the next slide. If you guys anything to ask, just raise your hand or just unmute your mic and ask. Okay. So next one will be next components of the hardware part is the memory. So what is a memory? What we call a memory? Mostly if we say memory, we don't know. If we say RAM, all guys I think the from the IT industries are knowing what is a RAM. So in a RAM, the type DDR4, DDR3, DDR5, likewise there are types and the capacity and the speed of the RAM we are thinking. So memory or a random access memory or a RAM is a type of volatile computer memory used to temporarily store data and instruction that the CPU need while running programs and performing tasks. It is an essential component that significantly impacts a system speed and performances. So what is it called? So this is a component which is help to the process of CPU by storing temporarily those data and instructions which is given by CPU while running a program or performing a task. Okay, is it clear to you guys? Just talk, don't be afraid or something, just talk. I think no problems. So the key characters of a RAM, mainly we are thinking about three things like volatility, then the high speed access and temporary storage. So RAM is a volatile line, meaning its contents are lost when the computer is powered off. It means the instruction or the data storage in a RAM, if we shut down a machine or restart a machine, the instructions all and data which is stored in the RAM will be lost. It means it will reset, like a reset. The instructions which is stored over the RAM will be reset. Now it's a newborn baby. It can contain the instructions and the storage again as a newly. Okay, once it restarted. High speed access. RAM allows for the fast data access compared to secondary storage like HDD, it means the hard disk or SSD likewise. So this is also this is a temporary storage. It temporarily holds data that the CPU and running programs actively use. So the instructions which is given by a program or something will be temporarily storage over in the RAM. There are RAMs, types of RAMs. Dynamic RAM, dynamic RAM mean DRAM. Most common type used in computers, mostly DDR3, DDR4, likewise things. This require constant repression to retrain data. It means this is the RAM is constantly repression to store the data like DDR double DDR mean double data rate series like DDR4, DDR3, DDR5, likewise things. So this is all are dynamic RAM. There are static RAMs. We called it as SRAM. That one dynamic RAM we are calling DRAM and the static RAM we are calling as SRAM. So SRAM is a faster and more expensive than DRAM. Does not require refreshing. Used in CPU cache memory. So SRAM is basically where is it is? It's in the CPU used in CPU cache memories. SRAMs. So there are another RAM called synchronous DRAM, SDRAM. So this operate in synchronization with the CPU clock speed for better performances. So this RAM is helping to synchronize with the CPU clock speed for better performances. Then VRAM, graphic RAM. What is a graphic RAM? Graphic RAM is specialized memory which is for GPUs, it means graphic processing unit, to handle graphics intensive task. It means when we play a game, when we watch in a 4K movie, the VRAM will be helping to enhance the graphics of those things. So then specifications of a RAM, mainly capacity, then the speed and the form factor, channels and cache latency are the specifications of a RAM. Capacity measure the gigabytes of terabyte. It means the capacity being 4 GB RAM, 10 GB, 8 GB RAM. Then we can come to 12 GB. Likewise, the capacity of the RAM will be specification of a RAM. More RAMs allow better multitasking and handling of large applications. It means if we use in more RAMs, it will be a better multitasking work. So the speed, this will be measured in megahertz. Uh, it means mega transfers per second, MTS. So the speed of the RAM also we need to think. 12 GB, not 12 GB mean not the speed, it is the capacity of the RAM, and the speed is coming MHz. So high speed improves data transfer rate between RAM and CPU. The speed will be helping to the improved data transfer between RAM and CPU. So then there are form factors, channels, single. It mean this RAM is a single channel one, dual channel or quad channel configured over the bandwidth performances of the RAM. Then the cache latency refer to the delay between common and data availability, and the lower latency generally means better performances. So those are the specifications of a RAM. Now we can come to the function of a RAM. So there are three functions: running application, improving speed, and facilitating multitasking. So what is called by running application? Running applications mean temporarily store data for the active applications and the operating system. Improving speed, faster access to the frequently used data compared to accessing from storage. Though these are the functions of a RAM. Then importance of a RAM performances. If we use in a high performances RAM, what is the important? Why we need to use a high speed RAM for the things? So mainly for us, gaming and productivity, system responsiveness. It means gaming, high RAM capacity and speed improve games loading time and performances. So the if we have a big RAM, the game works smoothly and we can play uh, game smoothly. So the actions and the graphic, all the things will be smooth. Productivity, so applications like video editing, 3D rendering, and the program benefits from large RAM. It mean for a large RAM, mostly the applications like AI, sorry, Photoshop, those editing. When we use in a video editing thing, the if the RAM is very high, it's very helpful for productivity. So, tips for choosing a RAM. When we choose in a RAM, there are some uh, key components we need to think about. So ensure the RAM is compatible with your motherboard and CPU. We are not going to a shop and we are asking DDR4. Give me DDR4. If my motherboard support DDR5, then that RAM which we have purchased will be not valid. So when you are selecting a RAM, first of all you need to consider, is it compatible with your motherboard and the CPU. If it's compatible, then you can buy. the capacity 8 GB is sufficient for the basic task, but 16 GB for gaming and multitasking, and 32 GB plus for professional applications. That is the capacity which is we are uh, commonly saying 8 GB is sufficient for basic tasks like work in Word, work in Excel, create in PowerPoint, view in PDFs, likewise things. For the gaming or multitasking like video editing or something like that, we need 16 GB. If you are going for the applications which is professional applications like Acrobat, then text editing things, likewise, so we are asking for 32 GB plus RAM. So the upgradability, we need to choose a system with additional RAM slot for the future expansion. This is mean when you select in a motherboard, don't go and buy a motherboard which is having one slot for RAM. Just select if you are going to purchase a uh, motherboard and you are going for a 12 GB RAM, then just add 8 GB and 4 GB and keep it mind for an extra slot. It means when you choose in a motherboard, if it has 3 slots or a 4 slot, it will be a added advantages in the future when we upgrade in the RAMs. So, conclusion of memory RAM is a crucial factor in determining a computer performances, directly impacting how smoothly and quickly a system can be operated. So RAM mainly what he is doing, he is helping the enhance the performances and the works smoothly over the system. So next component will be storage device. So I will just stop here and I will ask like this. Do you guys know storage device? What is a storage device? Anyone? Oh, the who was available over yesterday session? Is anyone from yesterday? Okay, I think no. So, yesterday also I told you, you guys are planning to come to industry. Am I right? All are having complete their degree, maybe their high diploma or a diploma, planning for a job to move into the industry. Anyone planning to come to industry? I think yes. If yesterday also I told, when you are coming to the industry, don't be silent, because in the industry if you are going to be silent, you will miss so many opportunities and so many things, and that's also a bad thing. Other bad thing is everything will be come to you only if you are going to be silent in the industry as well. So don't be hesitate or don't be shy, just talk, okay? So storage, what is a storage? Storage device are hardware components used to store data either temporarily or permanently. What it mean? For example, when we can think about a pen drive. So mostly we are saying USB drive as a pen drive. So why we are using a pen drive? To carry data, to store data. It may be temporarily, it mean from another computer to this computer, we are temporarily copying the file to that device and paste it over the destination machine, then we delete it from the pen. It means those data are stored temporarily over that device. If we going to keep the data, it means the copied data, you will be keeping those data for a long period or a permanently. That also a storage device which is built inside our desktop or a server or a machine. So uh, storage device are hardware components used to store data either temporarily or permanently. They come in various forms and technology, tailboard, or specific purposes like personal use, business operations, or enterprise level storage. So basically, there are type of storage device like primary storage, secondary storage, and uh, tertiary storage. So and the portable storage or network storage, cloud storage. Okay, so what is a primary storage? Primary storage definition is directly accessible by the CPU, store data temporarily while the computer is running. Okay, it mean for example, I will take a RAM and the cache memory. RAM will be violating memory loss data when powered off. Cache, what is a cache? High speed memory used by CPU for frequently access the data. So RAM cache memory is an example for the primary storage. So secondary storage. What is a secondary storage? Secondary storage is a non-volatile used for long-term data storage like our hard drive or a SSD or a hybrid drive. So in the when we think about the So when we think about the hard drive, normally previously for all machines we have used HDD. It means hard disk drive. So magnetic storage device, this is very slow but affordable. It means the price and the things are a little bit low when we compare to SSD. Now over every machines, most of machines, like 90% of mobile devices or laptops are using SSD. This is faster than hard disk drive and use flash memory more, but this is little bit expensive, not little bit, more expensive. After that there's a hard drive called hybrid drives, combine of SSD and HDD technologies. It means it was created by combining those above two technologies. So this in the name also it's mentioned in hybrid. So this is actually not good because in the SSHDs there are some issues mostly facing like corrupt in the hard drive hardware performances. So then we have tertiary storage. This is used for backup, arrivals, and achieval and infrequently accessed data. Like what this is a common one. Mostly example optical device. There are optical devices which is like CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, which is used as theatrical drivers, and it is an optical device. There are other drivers which is coming under this theatrical drivers. It's a tape drive. These tape drives are used in the data farms to back up the data. Why we are backupping data? In the industry there's a like what we are calling good practice. We are keeping drive the backup of the server in a two places for the disaster recovery. It mean DR, we are saying DR. It mean in a company there are two domains. One is the production or pro one or the on-prem which is using at the moment, and there's another side, DR side. It is uh, DR side is called Disaster recovery site. It means if anything happened to the live location one, if we cannot take anything from them, what we are going move into the DR site, recovery site. So there the process is previously, not previously, in day-to-day activities also, in the modern IT life also, they are using tapes for storing backup data. So once they have backup the data, they are not going to keep that backup with them. They will be place another place. Like if we are in Colombo, then our backup site will be in Kurnagala or Kandy. When we selecting those backup sites, also there are some things need to consider: the weather condition of that location or the humidity and other so many components we have to think about when we create in a DR site. I will explain that scenario in another day. Okay, so what then we come to portable storage. In the name also it's saying portable, it mean external and easy to transportable storage layer. Mainly what is it called? USB flash drive, what we are calling it, pen, or a external hard drive, or a SSD, or memory chips. Likewise, things are coming under portable storage. Network storage. Mainly, network storage is storage access over a network often shared among multiple users. The name of mainly in the industry, what we are called NAS. NAS is network attached storage, where file level storage over a network. So storage area network, SAN, NAS and SAN. Sandboxes are there. So block level storage for enterprise application. So cloud storage. In the most of you guys are using this cloud storage. Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, Mega, then User DX, Seeders. Likewise, applications. Most of applications are known as online storage. Online storage is a cloud storage where we can store data over the internet, and we can share these things by sharing a link to access a particular person. So example services like which I have already said: Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox. In the enterprise solutions, we'll use AWS S3, Azure Blob Storage for those things as a storage device. So when we come to factors which we need to consider when choosing a storage device. So what are the things we need to consider when we choose any storage? Mainly capacity, then the speed, like read and write speed is mostly if you are going to purchase, just try to purchase a SSD, and the reliability of that particular storage, and the portability, and main thing is cost. And the for a backup one, we cannot use a secondary storage or a primary storage. For backup purpose, we need to use a tape. So when you going to buy a storage device, you need to think about the purpose as well. So now the last part of this storage device. So conclusion is storage devices play a crucial role in both personal and professional environment by ensuring the data is available for secure and manageable. Okay, so the uh, last component, hardware component, is network interface. So we are going for the network interface. What is a network interface? Networking interfaces are hardware or software component that enable devices to connect and communicate over a network. This is not only the network port, this may be our Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, those all everything is coming under network interfaces. So they serve as a bridge between a device and the network, handling the transmission and reception of data packets. Data is going from one location to another location as a packets. Okay. Type of network interfaces. What are the types? There are wired network interfaces, then fiber optic interfaces. The sorry, wired network. In the wired network, we are using Ethernet port or a fiber optic interface. So when we think about Ethernet, mainly we are telling RJ45 is standard for most wired network, provides high speed stable connection for beginning from 10 Mbps to 10 plus Gbps. It means 10 megabits per second to 10 plus. It means more than 10 gigabits per second. Okay. These RJ45s are common in desktop services and switches and servers, mostly using these Ethernet ports. And the fiber optic interface. This is a user like to transmit data at high speed over a long distance. Interfaces include SFP, it means small form factor pluggable, and QSFP, quad small form factor pluggable. So these interface are different from Ethernet RJ45s. If anyone study network engineering or you guys have seen this, just go for the Google and search fiber optic interfaces, then you guys can see those things. Then we come to wireless network. When we think about wireless network, what come into our mind? Mainly Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, there are mostly over Wi-Fi we are calling 802.11 is the number which is using for the Wi-Fi. This wireless LAN standard for devices like laptop, smartphones, and IoT devices. Wi-Fi versions include uh, 802.11n, 11AC, 11AX. Those 11AX are Wi-Fi 6. Normal is Wi-Fi, normal one, and the high speed one is like AX. Then the Bluetooth also known as a wireless network. Keep it mind, and cellular interfaces like the receiver of our mobile phones, dongle or a router, likewise interfaces. Then we come, these are wireless network interfaces. Then we come into virtual network interfaces, software defined interfaces, loopback interfaces, tunnels are available. Tunnels are mainly using for the VPNs, and loopbacks are virtual interfaces for local communicating within the device. Okay, IPv4 like 127.0.0.1 in IPv4. Then the software defined interfaces are like created for virtualize or contain platforms like VMware, Docker, Azure, virtual network. Likewise are software defined interfaces. Then the specified network interface is, there are some specialized specialized network interfaces like serial interfaces. These interfaces are legacy connection for low speed data transfer, those serial interfaces. Then the InfiniBand. So InfiniBand is a high speed interface for data center and high performing computers. And then main most used one Thunderbolt and Ethernet adapters. Interfaces converting Thunderbolt or USB to Ethernet for wired connectors, like the converters which are using over the Type C ports in the computers. for Ethernet as a network port. So function of network interface is mainly data transfer, address assignment, and protocol handling, and media access, likewise things. Data transmission, send the and receive packets between devices on the network. It means from the network we can share a document to another machine, so it's called data transmission. Address assignation is mainly coming when we coming in the industry. Most of machines are having static IPs. Most of machines using static IPs. Those IPs, static more automatic IPs, which are released from DNS, will be assigned to this interface, and it will bind with the MAC address, mostly MAC address binder. So the assignation will be done over the network interface. Then the protocol handling like TCP, IP, UDP, ARP protocols will be handling through the network port. Then the media access. It mean media access mean we can manage medias like projectors or any network connected devices from the network. It is called as media access. So interface speed and standard, mostly in network interface speed and their standard will be type speed use case Ethernet 10 Mbps to 100 Gbps, wired wired local network. For the Wi-Fi 300 Mbps to 9.6 gigabytes per second, gigabits per second. For the wireless LAN fiber optic, 1 gigabits per second to 400 plus gigabit per second. High speed and long distance links. Bluetooth will be up to 2 Mbps, it means megabit per second, and in the short range, it will be in the short range 5G cellular will be 10 gigabits per second. So and this also the mobile and IoT connectivity as well. So the when we choose in the right interface, we need to think about the application requirement. Is it working with Ethernet speed and the wireless? For example, I in a recent day I have purchased a CCTV camera, and it was a Wi-Fi CCTV camera. The I am explaining this scenario because I also face this issue when I am choosing which internet network interface I need to use for that Wi-Fi router. Was it is connect that CCTV camera is connecting with my Wi-Fi router, but another purpose I have borrowed the hotspot portable Wi-Fi device, and that CCTV is not compatible with that portable hotspot. So I have purchased it. uh, what it called, the money which I have given for that was waste. So when why I have said that, when you select in a network interface, you need to consider application requirement. Is it wired or wireless? If it's a wireless, is it supporting that device? So we need to think those things as well. In the industry as well, if you are coming, mostly you guys come into industry as junior system engineer, junior, the position will be junior or intern or trainer. So you, most of senior guys will be asking you guys to bring this one, and please bring this device. It means for a wired connection or something, they are asking to bring something. When you don't consider these things, and if you are bringing that device, it will be a issue for you guys. So that's why when you select in anything, you guys need to take the correct one by selecting it. Or when we select in interface application requirement, we need to think about. Then the performances need. If we need a fiber connected device, if we buy in RJ45 one, it will be not helpful. So the thing you need to buy, you need to consider it. So fiber for high speed data transfer, then the Wi-Fi for the 6 high speed home or office wireless connection, then the scalability and the feature proofing. Is it it mean most of, I don't think you guys are knowing this. In our dialog router or a CLT router which is we are using in the home, we can blacklist some IP address, or we can blacklist their Mac ID. So if they know password, or if they know the your username and password, they cannot log into that device because we already have blocked that. Then we can whitelist. What is meaning by whitelist? Whitelist, we can select specific devices which we are going to allow access to our network interface. Likewise, there are some features over the routers as well. So, uh, when we come to the conclusion of network interfaces, it's also a backbone for the connectivity. CPU also backbone for the process. Network interface is a backbone of connectivity and enabling device to the communicate effectively in both local and global networks. So, this is the end of our first session. You guys having any issues, any questions, or guys you need to ask something, just come forward and ask anything. Am I audible? ProLab admin, am I
Yes, sir.
audible?
Audible. Yes,
Okay,
sir. You are
okay.
audible.
So my screen also visible now.
Yeah.
Okay, so as of now, I think there's no any what problems or questions or anything. If you guys having any issues or something, just ping me. I think most of guys in here today I am not see yesterday, so I'm going to present yesterday presentation for a 5 minutes. Is it okay with you guys? Because you guys don't know about me, who am I, likewise things. So for a 5 minutes, I will just give a brief thing with these sessions. Okay. So, in here, what we are going to do is sessions introduction to servers. So, here we are going to explain about the servers and the functionality, what OS are using. Likewise, things we are going to explain, which is will be a added advantage when you guys come to the industry or planning to come to industry. So, other thing is. No, it will, I will, yeah, other thing is we are going to do a workshop in the last day of this session series. Okay, so I am requesting you guys to download the links which we have shared over the WhatsApp group for server 2022 iOS and Windows 11 iOS, and the application which is going to virtualize the application and how we are going to install a server. I will explain those things. So before that day, just be kind enough to download those things. So I will explain who am I. So I'm Dhanushka Rajakaruna. I am working as a system engineer in the Tech One Global, and I have completed my BSc in Ethical Hacking and Network Security from Coventry University, which is held by NIBM. And in the industry, I have more than 7 years of experience. Also, I am a certified Microsoft engineer for the Intune and Sophos certified engineer for free sales engineering. So the products which I have worked in SCCM, SCOM, SCDPM, those most of these products are related to Microsoft. So I am working as a system engineer. I am working with the cloud and normal on-prem servers. So this is a one thing which I am going to say. When you planning to come to the industry, you guys need to decide your path. Are you going to be a system engineer? Are you going to be a network engineer? Or are you going to be a DevOps or cybersecurity analysis or someone vulnerability assessment engineer? Maybe. But when you decide in your path, there are some extra qualifications you need to do. It means the certifications. If you are coming for a system engineer over the Windows, you need to complete Microsoft certifications like Azure 900, Azure 104, MD 102, MS 104. Likewise, there are so many Microsoft exams. Because why I am telling this, now most of IT beginners having a degree is just a certificate for us. If you need to improve yourself, you guys need to do certifications for if you are going for a network engineer, you need to do CCNA side. If you are planning for the DevOps, then you guys need to do Red Hat system engineer. Maybe from the Linux end, you guys need to do Red Hat certification. Likewise, there are so many certifications you guys need to try to do one, at least a fundamental one, before come to the industry. It will be a added advantage for your career life. Then you can decide, I will do this exam next. Likewise, you guys can do. Okay. So this is the, if you guys having anything to just connect with me, if you guys want, just take my contact details I have shared here. And as of now, this is the end of session 1. So I if anyone having any issues, just uh, talk, otherwise we can wind up the call. I think there's no any issues for anyone. So we can wind up the call. ProLab, I will share you the link of the video, the session. You can share with it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sure.
Okay. Thank you all for your participation.
Thank you, sir.